Hey Hada, what's happening this week in Melee? Oh my gosh, you are coming off of one of the best online tournaments, and it's hard to say that in terms of recent memory because one of the best online tournaments in recent memory can mean a lot of great sets that have been happening ever since Mokk said Melee's dying. Everybody's been coming back, entering in these online weeklies in preparation for the month of majors coming up here in April. We're less than an hour away on East Coast time, by the way, from April, which means Genesis and Pound and so many more tournaments, of course, coming after that. But you came off of the salt mine just now where Mokk wins the tournament, spoilers, over Hungrybox. And that was a great game 5 set. And before that, Hungrybox versus IBDW, game 5, losers final set, also amazing to watch. And then I think it was Zuppy versus Hungrybox for losers semis, also game 5. That's
Yeah.
insane. But you want to go ahead and recap that top 8 for us to get us
God,
started off?
man, like that top eight was nutty. It's I have to give a lot of credit to All Chat. We've literally been an organization for less than a year, and now we just broke 1,900 followers on Twitch. Have been making deals with organizations like FlyQuest. Of course, we have our awesome sponsor in Drop.com, and of course our
Ooh,
jerseys now for sale. By the way, if you guys like this fresh jersey. We
super
also have the
fresh.
whites available as well. But yeah, those are available like $50 on there's a link if you want to check out the all chat Twitter. Go ahead and go for that. We can also link it in the description below. But yeah, it's been a crazy week. Top 8 was nuts. Commentated with Trey, friend of the show, definitely a friend of mine. And we had such a great time, man. Just game 5, game 5, game 5. H-Box. I literally put on my Big House 4 Hungry Box cosplay. Like he puts on the Kanye and he's bobbing his head with the headbuds and the glasses, just going crazy. It was fun. And people are already saying I look like alternate universe H-Box already. So it was a match made in heaven. I had such a good time.
And breakfast, of course, being
Mm-hmm.
although we are bigger breakfast fans than brisket fans
Mm,
here on this podcast. So shout outs to
true.
breakfast. But you got a chance to have, again, a great time with Trey. That was such a great commentary of what I was able to catch there towards the end of the tournament. And I'm so happy that there's been a lot of push. I was nervous about it going through the thought process back in February, where I was thinking, all the bigger tournaments are going to be coming up. What will online tournaments be like leading up to that?
Right.
Will it be, oh, one or two grinders going to be entering in and everybody else will be practicing offline more or less? And when I say offline, I mean playing Slippy, but playing Slippy off stream, doing practice sessions
Right.
off stream and that kind of stuff. Like, how is it going to be? Because this is sort of a new normal, and it's going to be probably, or what I hope to be the case is that a month before big tournaments come round, especially in a row, back to back, like Genesis and Pound are going to be this year. I love the concept of online weeklies and online tournaments filling up with top players trying to get that bracket practice in, even if it's at home. There's the streaming stuff. I mean, there was got to be concurrent at least 4,000 if not 6,000 views for that tournament tonight because everybody was watching. I mean, Vaga was watching.
Yep.
Obviously, everybody watching Hungrybox, Moki's, IBDW
Bobby.
streams.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
Yeah.
cool to see that. So I'm really excited to see how that continues to progress. But then also this weekend we have Gallant Melee Open Spring Edition. Not a lot of entrants just yet, but just like the fall or winter edition, the last one that happened towards the end of last year, I bet you there will be a lot of people signing up last minute.
Right.
Poor dear. Shout outs to Gier and the rest of the Gallant Melee Open team. Hang in there. And I can't wait to see that tournament this upcoming weekend. But we're getting so close to Genesis, dude.
Yeah, it's exciting. There's a lot of preparatory tournaments, is what you're saying. So I think Gallant Melee Open this weekend could be a really good say for who's playing in form, who has a little bit of de-rusting to do, who are the upcoming names that are really trying to make a run here for Genesis. And Genesis looking so stacked, man. Like every relevant player has made at least a chance to register to at least make their intent to show up. So it's going to be an insane tournament. It's going to be a bloodbath. All these up and comers are going to come in looking for their top 50, top 30, top 10 wins. And it's going to be an insane event. So I'm so excited for the up and coming tournaments. So to kind of test the waters and, of course, the big final shebang of Genesis in the middle of April.
Except the plot twist of the week. Leffen is now an official proud corgi dog owner of a little left boy named Toto, if I recall correctly.
Let me see.
All kinds of pictures on the timeline. For those of you who do not follow Leffen, you get to now, if you do, get to see super cute corgi puppy pictures. Wow. It's a good thing I've only done a lot of podcasts. Otherwise, I'd be tripping over that even harder. It's so great. I initially reacted with, "Oh, this is sad." I mean, I get it, but this is sad. But then I saw the first picture, and now I'm all the way into, this is great. I'm happy camp. I think there was some people who were actually mad at Leffen being like, "Why would you get a corgi puppy and have to stay home and babysit or dog sit, excuse me, until, because puppies they need attention and care and love."
They do.
Why would you deprive Toto of that? Anyway, I know that some people kind of reacted strongly at first, but all you got to do is just show some pictures. And I think most of us, including me, I was a little sad. Now I'm not sad anymore.
Yeah, I mean, little Toto, he has a really long meme name. It's like young Fox McCloud, Jelte, the God Slayer, the dog Lord, something like that. That's all well and good. And, I'm all about getting puppies, and my girlfriend and I actually had puppy fever the other day. So her family works with a collie rescue here in Colorado. And so they've had gorgeous collies and shelties all their whole life, and they foster and adopt them. And of course, I'm like, "Oh, when are we getting a collie? Collies are so cute. I want a little lassie dog." And she's like, "Well, we need a yard and we need a fence and we need a big fence so they don't jump over the fence and try to hurt other animals or hurt people. And based on instinct, we need to make sure that they're safe." And I'm like, I cannot afford a house with yard and fence yet. So one day, but we're thinking about adopting a little pup at some point. But in other very wholesome news, we do have my favorite day of the year for content is April 1st, because my dear friend Turned Down for Walt is going to be uploading his yearly April 1st meme video, and he sent me a little trailer, and all I'm going to say is it has a little bit to do with Melee, but a lot to do with two certain actors and one comedian who may or may not have gotten slapped across the face at the Oscars. So, of course, this is going to be re-released the night before the video comes out. So if you were here for the spoiler, congratulations, you got it 12 hours early. But yes, it's about Will Smith slapping the shit out of Chris Rock at the Oscars. And if you saw the HBox pop-off pass-out video that Walter did last week, where he literally used his chemical engineering degree to go into the thermodynamics of how many calories that HBox expended during that pop-off and how much heat was generated, it's going to be a good video. There's going to be some force analysis. There's going to be a lot of cool little chicanery that's going to go on. It's going to be amazing. So I'm so excited.
I'm assuming that you saw the original video, right? I was so surprised with how fast Will Smith can still move, or maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but was hiding the whole time, cards to the chest, and all of a sudden, at the speed of lightning, it was insane.
Homie got up there. He walked up it literally almost looked like he Dio walked. He was walking up all slow. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's go time." And he was just it literally looked like, I know I saw something. He's like, "Oh, he looked like he was gonna walk up and shake his hand or whisper something to him," and then we're just like, "Wow!" And I'm like, "Oh."
And shout out to Chris Rock handling it like a champ. I mean, I don't know how many people in the world can handle a moment like that and just keep it moving. I would just break down. I'd be like, I think I'm done.
I'd just be like, okay. Oh man, And again, me being the king of transition. Speaking of things being done, our good friend, another good friend of the show, grown working man, ghetto war machine, Jesse to some people, leaving New England to move with he and his girlfriend and his cat to Arizona, and has had an awesome final tournament in New England where all of his sets were streamed and hosted by Austin Melee, and they had an absolute masterclass of a tournament. So fun to check in on that. Bunch of crazy clips spawned from that. And actually, Jesse reached out on Twitter to a couple people and said, "Hey, here's my trip. I would love to see some friends. Would love to have some places to crash if you're not too far off the road. Can you house me, a girl, and a cat?" And I'm like, I can do that. It's like 2 hours out of your way to come to Denver, but it's Denver. You know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, if you want to come to Denver, I got a couple couches for you if you want to swing through. And he's like, wait, real? For real? And I'm like, yeah, bro. And he's like, all right, I'm adjusting the course. So we're gonna come swing through Denver. We're gonna check out the city. We're gonna check out Colorado. We're gonna hang out a little bit. I'm like, I'm so down. So Jess is gonna be staying with me for a day or so, and gonna hang out with him and the girl and his cat. And so excited for him to make this transition. And of course, the Arizona crowd is really excited to bring him into their scene. And of course, the New England crowd. So sad to see him go, but happy to have loved and lost to not have loved at all. So
This would be
definitely a
like one of the
pillar
first
of
big
New England.
moves that I can think of where I'm like adjacent to the New England scene, right? And I've talked to a lot of people up there, but I mean, when Plup moved to Oregon, it was like, Plup moved to Oregon? Okay. Wizzy moved to Texas? Okay. But since I've had Jesse on the podcast before, and since I've seen him play, I know how much of New England he is. New England runs through his veins. To see a move like this, it genuinely feels sad to me. I'm thinking it's just a little piece of history for Melee. Now people will talk about when grown working man 420 used to be over here in the East Coast. Now he's AAZ, and that's cool. That is cool. And good luck with your new job and everything, Jesse. So shout outs. But I am a little sad to see that happen. Best way to preserve it, though. I mean, when I heard that all of his sets were going to be streamed, I was like, Patty and Austin Melee, the rest of the crew, bunch of legends, trying to make sure this is like, it's like a movie. If you go on the Austin Melee VODs YouTube channel, that's where you can watch it. It's 3 hours long. If you watch an Avengers movie, that's also like 3 hours long. Treat yourself. There you go. Like, it's on my watch later list. I'm going to get to it at some point.
Yeah, it's good. And speaking of some content you want to check in on, you might want to check out a clip posted by Ben SSBM. Obviously, in the context of the clip is all there, but there is a lengthier bit to this little monologue. But Mekk kind of giving a shout out to Bobby Big Balls and a lot of the other streamers who are getting a little lax with a little bit of the disrespect during tournaments. And, a couple of the members from their communities are going around to other chats and spewing some stuff. And Mekk trying to keep people accountable, basically kind of going on a little bit of a tirade. Like, listen, you have a following, you have success, you have a community that loves you, adores you, and wants to support you. And if you're talking about other players, F this guy's so lame, this guy's such a whatever, those people will mindlessly go and harass those other streamers from time to time. And that has been a problem during some of these tournament runs. And Mekk, trying to lay down the law, come correct. You gotta hold yourself, hold your community to a higher standard. And it's sad that this is happening, but of course, in the online and streaming world, it's going to be a little bit hard to avoid in situations like that. Toxicity will breed in a lot of situations.
Yes,
like this.
Well, see, drama drives the machine. I mean, we're talking about it because Mekk is stirring the pot a little bit because he's gets tired of seeing other people stirring the pot negatively. If you ever go to a Mekk stream and you watch him play tournament sets live, he'll be down in the set and he'll be down in the game, whichever, and he'll go, can still do this. I stop it. And I love the energy and I love the mentality. But of course, we all know the Melee streamers who get a little bit down, and it is an emotional ride to play it in a Melee tournament. And when you have super high expectations, you have a bunch of people in your chat saying you can do this or why aren't you doing this? I can understand how you can get there, but I do like seeing the force of Mekk coming through and trying to push the pendulum back the other way a little bit. Ultimately, it'll probably just continue to swing back and forth. Sometimes we'll be good about it. Sometimes we'll be all going, okay, we need to put this behind us. It makes me think about, I'm trying to connect my thoughts here, but basically I'm thinking about how Mekk is he sort of wants to have everybody sort of emulate the energy he has. I wanted to say I love not only how he wants to give feedback to other streamers, other community members, how he's willing to accept it himself. That was what I was trying to land on. Remember when he entered 7 tournaments in one night and caused all the TOs who run these online weeklies to say, this is the worst. No more entering 7 tournaments in a night sort of thing. And Mekk, to his credit, said, you know what, that's on me. All right, I won't do that. I won't do that again. I'll maybe enter in one side coast tournament, another side coast tournament, because when you're Midwest, you got it like that.
You do.
So maybe I'll do that, but no more 7 tournaments for me. So I like the fact that Mekk is now swinging hard for people he feels like he needs to call to a higher standard, because he's willing to hear that feedback himself. That's what I was trying to get to.
There you go. Yeah, super exciting to see. I love it when people hold each other accountable, because there's a lot of times when complacency can run rampant. So if there's an issue and people's like, oh, it's gonna happen, or oh, like I'm bothered by it, but I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to, rock the boat too much. It takes that one person to start that conversation and make sure that there's a standard set. Like, smack talk is all well and good, but when it turns into like borderline hate rating other people, it's not great. So, of course, shout outs to Mekk for being that one guy, being that force of positivity. And God, it's so funny to see, due to their proximity, Mekk and no fluxes and yes fluxes are literally lifting together. They actually go to the gym and lift together, which is hilarious to me. So, big ups to Mekk for doing the Lord's work and being that force of positivity, and of course giving us some great content like that. So, mad love, and yeah, it's been a great week of Melee. Happy to have been at least a little bit a part of the online Melee history. The Saltman was so fun today, and I'm having a good time all around.
I am too. The one last thought that I'll provide about Mekk's thing is that you see these people again. We're a small enough community that everybody kind of knows each other, especially when you are public facing, as all the streamers, all the big streamers are. And I know that Mekk is not on the level of Hungrybox and Mango as of right this second, but that is a real thing. I mean, Bobby Big Balls will inevitably run into Hungrybox again, and so on and so on. They played each other in a set recently, I think earlier this week, that it wasn't a game 5, and didn't Bobby Big Balls win? Or no, Hungrybox won, actually.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, all that to say, you run into these people again, so you want to not in the camp of saying, oh gosh, I have to run into this. That you want to at least feel neutral, or, oh, I like seeing this person again in bracket, or I like seeing this person stream. Okay, so to summarize this week of Melee, we are continually fighting the urge to talk about Genesis, because we were going to talk about that earlier this week, and then other stuff happened. All fine and well, all good. And we are looking forward to Gallant Melee Open Spring. If you want to be flown out to Battle of BC4 free of charge, Deer's going to pay for your ticket if you win Gallant Melee Open East Coast bracket or Gallant Melee Open West Coast bracket. That's the 2 bracket winners get flown out to Battle BC4 later in June and play grand finals in person as a side event.
That is so hype.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes. It's going to be so cool, because an online event doing a nice little lead up to an in-person event sort of thing. This is the kind of stuff that we all dreamed of, and it's actually happening for this particular event. Deer, you're a genius. And all the people who are watching saying, oh, should I do this tournament? Should I not do it? Don't you want to go to Vancouver on somebody else's dime? All you got to do is beat the rest of the bracket, and then you're all good. Let's go.
Pretty easy. Just win. All you got to do is just win. Again and again and again.
Win. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing this particular tournament, because it's not just bragging points and a little bit of prize pool. All good things. But I love the idea of a flight to a bigger in-person tournament kind of being on the line as well. It's a nice little shake-up. So shout outs to Deer, shout outs to Gallant Melee Open.
Yeah, always putting out great products. I've commentated a few of Deer's online majors. The Galint series is always a good time. I don't know if I'm commentating this weekend. I actually have to reach out and see if I'm on waitlist or what's going on with that. I haven't.
Oh, Deer, get this guy on.
I mean, we did play Jackbox with Trey a couple weeks ago, and that was a good time. He ended up smacking me up in all the little mini games, but mad love to Deer. It'll be a good time. I hope I can. But yeah, it's been a great week in Melee, and yeah, so please follow us on all the socials. Would really appreciate that. I'm at Hey Hada on basically everything. So Twitter and Twitch, that'd be great. Been streaming some League.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently accepted a new job, so I'm gonna be doing different schedule. Might be doing a lot of morning streams or something like that. But I'm gonna be doing like morning workout into shower, make lunch, little baby stream, go to work, so that sort of thing. And yeah, so please support the pod. Love coming back here every week, and hopefully we will have an excellent next week in Melee. We can talk about that this time next week.
Hada, it was great to have you on again. Always having fun when you're on, and thank you for making time, especially today when you've done a top 8 already and probably beyond. No, was it just top 8? Well, anyway, that was like a solid 3 hours. No big deal. And now you're doing this, so I appreciate it.
Oh, hang on, I got a cat. guys, cat. Look at cat.
Breakfast.
Hi,
Shout outs to breakfast. It's not a what's happening in Melee with Hada without breakfast. There is no what's happening in Melee with Hada.
Yeah, so there you go. Breakfast is a little mad at me now. She is being a little froggy recently, but she's
heard about the collie talk and probably got mad about that as well. But we'll catch you all next week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye guys, have a good one.